Hello, happy day. Dr. Amy here with the Free Range Mama Project. So we have been digging in to the layers of how our bodies are overwhelmed with toxicity, as well as where those sources of toxins are coming from. So today's episode, we're going to talk about hidden infections and the oral microbiome. Now, you may have heard of the term microbiome in relation to the gut health, but did you know that you have multiple microbiomes, or I should say a collection of bacteria within your body? So your nasal passages have a microbiome, your skin does, your oral cavity, which is what we're going to talk about today, the mouth, oral microbiome, your vaginal tract has a microbiome or a collection of bacteria, hence that amazing probiotic gulp that a baby gets with a vaginal birth, and more. So for today's purpose, we're going to talk about the oral microbiome. When we are referencing the gut, you may have heard that diversity is important, or balance is important, homeostasis is important, meaning that the bacteria stays in check, nothing gets out of hand, everyone is behaving and playing nicely with each other. So the same thing goes for your oral microbiome. So today, I'm going to focus on two different things that I want to share with you guys. So the first one is a book that I've been reading. I highly recommend checking out this book. I was floored at how many different health conditions and systemic diseases can be tied back to the oral health. So this is the book I would highly recommend checking out. It is called The Mouth-Body Connection by Dr. Jared Curatola. He is a dentist, I believe, out in Jersey or New York, an Italian, so my kind of guy. But this book is phenomenal. So much great information and easy tips to start to unwind, again, toxicity and removing it from your house and your lifestyle. So this is the first thing. And then the second thing I'm going to share with you guys, and I will put this in the description below, is an awesome article I came across. We're talking about oral microbiome today and female health. Specifically, we're going to talk about pregnancy, as well as polycystic ovarian syndrome. So the article that I came across was from February 2021, so just this year, Frontiers in Cellular and Infection Microbiology. The article is titled Dysbiosis of the Saliva Microbiome in Patients with PCOS, or Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. All right, so here we go. So the first thing I want to share with you guys, which I found was super interesting, I was geeking out to this, was as I was reading through this book, again, anything that talks about pregnancy, conception, postpartum, kiddos, my lights always go off because I'm like, okay, I want to learn about that. So in the book, it was talking about what it said on page 31, one of the bad guys. So the bacteria that it's talking about is the Fuso, F-U-S-O bacterium. It is a gram-negative oral bacterium, and it talks about how it can live in the mouth without causing problems, but it also can behave as a pathogen, and specifically it references various conditions that it affects, and one of them was causing adverse pregnancy outcomes. So I want to read you guys this. I thought it was very fascinating. So it says Fusobacterium is the most prevalent oral microorganism found in amniotic fluid and cord blood in adverse pregnancy outcomes. Finding the bacterium outside of the mouth, right, because it's being found in the placenta and the cord blood, or the amniotic fluid in the cord blood, finding it outside of the mouth demonstrates its ability to spread. This bacterium has been detected in placental and fetal tissues, including amniotic fluid, fetal membranes, cord blood, fetal lung, and stomach, and also has been shown to be a predominant microbe found in amniotic fluid and fetal membranes in preterm births. So the reason I thought that was super fascinating is as I was reading this article, and I would highly recommend if you are a female that struggles with PCOS, the polycystic ovarian syndrome, I would highly recommend reading this article. You might need to use Google a couple times like I did to make sure that you're following along with all of the words and what it's going with. But it was super interesting in what they found. So they essentially took a group of PCOS patients and then what they would consider to be a healthy group, or what they call to be healthy controls, and they tested their oral microbiome and their fecal, so their stool, their fecal microbiome. They tested both of those within both groups, both controls, and they did it within what they call diurnal or daily and at different times of the day to be able to see what happens in the morning versus the afternoon versus the evening. And one of the main things they found was that stinking fusobacterium that I mentioned. And on the, lots of information in it, but it says that the fusobacterium was raised in PCOS patients at each time point. So not just at one time, but throughout every single sample that they did, at each time point, that bacterium was raised. Increasingly, we showed for the first time that PCOS could disrupt that diurnal or daily rhythm of the saliva microbiota, which may be one of the reasons for the differences between bacterial abundance between the two groups at different time points. So the article goes into differences in the gut tract and how that plays out in PCOS. So I would highly recommend diving into it. But one thing I would recommend doing is if you are a female that either struggles with PCOS or a female that is looking to get pregnant, looking to conceive, I would highly recommend checking in with a biological dentist. I'm going to, in the description, put a link to find a biological dentist in your area. I have had my world rocked by meeting with one in our area. I've only seen traditional dentists in my life, and I am just floored and impressed with how they go about oral health from a natural, I'm going to call it holistic standpoint, really honoring the body and really looking at root cause. And one of the things that I would say in regards to this article is there's various tests that they can do, a cone beam scan to be able to see if there are hidden infections, as well as doing bacterial tests to see if any of these are out of control or out of balance, out of homeostasis in the mouth. Again, all of this contributing to your health. So if you are a female that is struggling with any of these things, I would highly recommend even more so checking with a biological dentist. So I hope that was helpful. If you have questions, comment below. If this was helpful, share this with a friend. I'm always here to serve you guys, and I'm happy to be here. So I hope you guys learned something and have a blessed day. I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.